Mike, call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
All right, just as a note, an executive session for legal matters was held prior to tonight's meeting. For citizens to be heard, Commissioner Evans, would you like to welcome everyone? We finally have an almost full room here.
Yeah, this is.
Wow.
I gotta say, this is nice because the last few meetings we've been saying, "Oh, look at everyone out there," and it really wasn't anybody.
Don't blow it for me.
Give yourselves a hand. Thank you for coming out, and thanks for joining us. We hope a whole lot of fun representing this township and all of you, and are excited about the many great things coming. Happy spring. It's not spring out there, but it will be. I really don't have much to say other than that. It's really good to see everyone tonight. It's really, the more people are here, the more excited we are, and then the busier we get to make sure this township's amazing.
Well said. Thank you, Mark. All right, next we have citizens by request for any agenda items. Anyone here in the township building have any comments? Do not see any hands raised at this moment. Anyone in Zoom? All right, moving right along. We have engineering, the road program scope and cost estimate. We have Ross online. Ross, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners.
Oh, can you hit the volume a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Yeah, that's better.
Thank you. It's just thank you. Good evening, commissioners. And wanted to just have a discussion tonight about the road program for this year. So I'll share my screen here to get started. And this should be, you should see a map of the township. So I'll start with it zoomed out, and you can see these roads highlighted in red here. That's what we're intending for the road program this year. And that's based on consultation with the Public Works Department. So if I zoom in, we'll see that the roads included in this scope that we're presenting are North Embryville Road and Summit Avenue. And then within this neighborhood, Norwood Avenue, Louisiana Avenue, and Bungalow Glade, as well as Oak Lane, Edgemont Avenue, and Jewel Avenue. And just to give a little bit of context, the road capital program update from a couple years ago, where we evaluated the condition of all of the roads throughout the township, you can see there's a few that, based on the color-coded rating system, where red is the worst, yellow and orange are kind of in the middle, and green is the better condition. Like a few areas of the township jumped out from that work, where there were a few over here, which was last year's road program, like Ridgeview and Longview Drive, et cetera. And then another area with a concentration of roads that were in lesser condition was down here. And that's the area that we worked with Public Works to identify the scope for this year's road program. So with that in mind, we did a field study with Public Works, and also then went and prepared cost estimates based on the quantities of paving that would be anticipated for those roads. And so this is the summary of the budget. So it's broken down by each of those roadways. And that it also includes, and this is departure from past practices, this year we included some storm drainage improvements for replacement of deteriorated storm systems. That is actually included in this budget, whereas typically in the past it had only been just purely the paving numbers. And based on the township, the feedback that we received as we were planning for this year, the budget was intentionally a bit higher than the typical road programs from the past few years. So it is a little higher than, like, say, last year was probably more in the $300,000 range. So this was intentionally targeting more like $550,000. So when we combine all of the work for each of these roads, our estimate for the probable construction cost is $555,408. And that we have used updated unit rate pricing from some other bids that our company just received in the past week or two. So they should be very up to date costs. So we feel like that's a reasonable estimate. And our objective tonight was to present this scope to you to basically make sure that this is okay with the commissioners. And then if so, our next step would be to submit this to PennDOT to get approval for a project through PennDOT, since it would use liquid fuels funding. And then once we receive that PennDOT approval, then we would return to the commissioners to get your formal authorization to bid. So there's not really an action item tonight, like not a formal vote that we were requesting, but more of just a discussion item to get the sort of the verbal go ahead to approach PennDOT to get their approval for a project.
Thank you, Ross. Commissioners, any comments, questions?
Yeah.
I really appreciate you walking us through the process like this. It's great to know how we got to what the decisions we're going to make. So thank you so much, Ron.
Sure.
Questions? I do have one question. Are any of these roads set up to be any road construction going on after we actually have them paved? Just thinking ahead, I'd hate to do a beautiful road job and then have it torn up for water lines or anything like this. Something that we can check into.
Right. That's a great point. And as far as I know at the moment, that we would not be expecting like for a water line project to come in right after that. But I think it's certainly something we could just verify. Like I can talk to the township staff to just double check all of that before we actually submit anything to PennDOT.
We'll regarding what will be expected through the road program, and if they have any additional work that they're planning on doing, hopefully they can coordinate it along with us. We will be in touch with those utility providers.
Okay. Very good move. Great. Ross? Ted, let me reach out to the tenants or residents here. Tenants. Anybody here in the township building? Any comments about this? Do not see any hands raised. Anyone in Zoom? Commissioners, are we all thinking about getting these roads done, moving forward?
I like it. Yeah.
I think we're all in favor of that. Ross, do what you need to do. Really
Great, thank you. Yep. So I like we just concluded. I'll confer with the township staff just to make sure that we don't see any issues of like sort of an out of sequence construction efforts. And if everything seems good, then we'll get that application over to PennDOT to create the project.
All right. Thank you so much, Ross.
Thank you.
Is that okay, Ross, tonight?
Peaks will be on a.
Are you sticking around, Ross, for the farmhouse?
Yes, I can hang around until for the farmhouse pay up. Yep.
Oh, okay. And we have Lisa Swan. Okay. Are we able to mute? Okay, thank you. Perfect. Next on the agenda, Township Manager, 2.1.
I'm going
Mr.
to
Beamazall, let us know what's happening.
Well, I'm going to defer to Director Stackhouse, and now been very active and involved with this consulting engagement.
Hi, Commissioners.
No.
So if you remember at the last work session, I guess it was almost a month ago now, we discussed Rob Consulting. This is a consultant that the 5 municipalities that came together to work with Minquist and support Minquist, that Minquist provides that service to help figure out a strategy, a long-term strategy, evaluate the service, evaluate how the municipalities are funding that service, and develop a 3-year strategy plan for long-term success for EMS. We did discuss that. All the municipalities involved, all 5 municipalities have already signed a funding agreement to pay their share of this. And this is just Cowan kind of got nominated. One of the municipalities has to kind of coordinate that. and it was you.
It was you.
We hope-
So yeah, this agreement just kind of formalizes that project.
Okay. Well said. Hey, commissioners, any comments on this?
Just a comment. I
Make a
think it's,
motion.
when people look to us to take the lead on something, that means that besides the fact that we have the biggest piece of it and that we're the ones willing to say yes, but it means that they trust us, that they know we're going to get it done and follow through. So thank you, Ray
Absolutely.
Stackhouse.
Absolutely.
Well, and really, we should, there's a 5 municipality group, and Paul and I sit on that board. But really, the work that gets done is done by the subcommittee, which is Ray, Jack Law from Downingtown, and Michael O'Brien. Is that
Yeah,
his last
O'Brien.
name?
That's correct.
Yes.
From East Callan, and those three individuals really do a lot of the legwork. The municipal officials, we've done a lot of work, but we've gotten as far as we can get without help. But really, that is driven by the subcommittee, so we should thank them for all of their hard work.
Yes.
Second that motion. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Great. Let me reach out to the residents here in the township building. Any comments? Questions? And at this time, anyone in Zoom? Great. Well, with that said, entertain a motion to approve the consultant service agreement with Rob
moved.
Consulting.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in, yep, there you go. Motion passes 5-0. All right, 2.2, Spackman Davis Farm roof payment. I
Woohoo!
guess we're bringing back Ross.
Yes, I'm back for another one. All right, so I'll just bring this up on the screen as well. So just to give you an update, they're basically all wrapped up. The project is essentially complete. And this is the payment application number 1 from the contractor. So you'll see that this is not for the total amount because they did the last finishing touches essentially between the time this was submitted and now. So we would have one more pay application later to be the final closeout. But at this time, at least, the contractor has requested for payment of a total of $177,874.11 worth of work completed. And then that would be subject to a 5% retainage because at the time this app was submitted, it wasn't complete yet. So what we would be requesting tonight would be authorization to issue payment to the contractor in the amount of $168,980.40, with the rest being that retainage. And then the final pay app and release of retainage we would expect to occur within the next month.
Perfect. Commissioners, any comments, questions? Comments on the roof?
Looks good.
Looks good. All right. Residents here in the township building, any comments, questions? On at this time, anyone in Zoom? Great. That said, entertain a motion to approve payment number 1.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion
Aye.
passes 2-0. Ross, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
You too.
Two, Ross.
Moving right along. Friends of Spackman Farm Davis MOU discussion. Mr. Remazal, you want to lead us on this?
I'm over. 2 weeks old. God. What is that? Meeting.
Don, is your microphone on? People cannot hear you.
Uh-oh.
Very good.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that sounds better.
Okay. Apologize about that.
Great.
Start over.
Start over. This agenda item, the Friends of the Spackman Davis Farm, formed last year. It's a nonprofit entity, organized to help raise funds for the restoration, preservation of the Spackman Davis Farm property, township property, of course, off Kings Highway. As you saw from the last agenda item, the cost associated with that restoration, that preservation, is quite expensive, and other municipalities have been very successful in partnering with nonprofits in order to raise funds toward a directed effort: open space, public parks, historic preservation, and the like. Anytime you're joining these any two organizations, it's good to have rules of engagement in order to ensure that there's a common understanding, responsibilities, activities, process. And over the past several weeks, months, members of the Friends of group and the township have engaged in a series of discussions based on other MOUs that have existed and specifics related to this property to put together an MOU as far as how that arrangement's going to work. The arrangement, the MOU is, of course, in the packet. It's broken down into several areas, including, just general understandings of defining the organizations, the Friends of the township property, of course, Spackman Davis Farm, general terms as far as who's responsible, what's the understanding overall, and then getting into the responsibilities of the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm and the responsibilities of the township. Ultimately, it is township property. It is public property. It's entrusted to the residents, and as such has to be treated in that fashion. However, the nonprofit does have additional tools in their toolkit in order to raise funds and trying to find a way to balance out that public need for preservation and opening that property up to use and enjoyment of all residents, while making sure it balances against the significant costs associated with that, turning it into a real gem in the community. This hopefully will go a long way when different types of activities, events, restoration projects, things of that sort come forward. The process is laid out as far as what's the first step, what can be done with administrative support, what can be done, require board support and board approval in order to move forward. Really tonight, we are hoping to have a discussion, a review of the MOU. If any changes, of course, can be incorporated, and then the goal would be at a future board meeting to have it on the agenda and have it accepted by Board of Commissioners. The term associated with this being the first year is just until the end of this year. Gives us an opportunity to work through anything that does not quite, once it's implemented, if we need to make some modifications, we don't have to, not entering into a 5-year term with this agreement. So at the end of the year, we'll have another chance to look at it. If everything works great, we can just open it, adopt it once again, but does give us an opportunity to change. So this will only be once it's adopted from the date of adoption until December 31st, 2025, the close of this year. So any questions? I will.
Well said. Well put.
Very
I mean, you pretty much covered everything there, but commissioners, I'll open it up if we have comments, questions.
I just say that, full disclosure, I am a member at large of the board of directors of the nonprofit. Our president is well-deserved vacation right now. Our treasurer had a personal issue, couldn't be here. We have our secretary here, Donna DiPrenzio, and I can just share that this group has raised and is sitting on about $8,500. They can't wait to spend on township property.
Oh,
That's all I have to say. So,
Good start.
yes.
Yeah.
Good start. Any other comments? Questions?
I'd just like to see how some of the other models look, for some of the other municipalities or governing bodies that are, partnering together in these type of entities and what it looks like.
I can certainly share some of the examples that we reviewed
Mhm.
through this process, and I will say this has been our solicitor, Kristen Camp, has reviewed it, and a large portion of the activities up there require an event permit. So we have had the directors, the department heads have all taken a look at this and weighed in, made any recommendations associated with that. So, but I'm more than happy to share some of the examples that we
How it would
base
look
this
like,
on.
yeah.
Of course.
Great concept though.
I think it'll help unlock because when you give to the township, it's not tax deductible. So if a person is looking to give a large gift or a corporation is looking to give a gift, giving to the township is not a tax deductible donation. So working with a foundation or friends of will allow us to make those asks, I think, to be able to ask for larger donations to help
Yeah.
fund some of this. Or even allow us to have some matching ability,
Right.
because grants come with matching requirements. So maybe we can use, I'm not sure, Don, can you use private funds as matching funds?
It's encouraged, not only for a direct match in terms of funding, cover some of those requirements. Essentially, a local match is what they refer to it. So it can be a township funds or a foundation, nonprofit, but also if we're applying for a project up there, letters of support. It's a like-minded organization that's directed towards a similar mission and willing to show that they're in support of the application and of the project. So there's a couple of different opportunities where having this entity in partnership could be a benefit.
Step by step, we get
That's
there.
good.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
One foot in front of.
Yeah, I definitely think it's
Good.
a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
We'll
this.
have all the other boards join you later, following you soon.
And as far as the projects on the homes and whatnot, I guess as the Friends of Spackman Farm are trying to get their donations, I would assume you need a goal or some type of project to lead into. And I know Paul Stevens had written an excellent write-up about the home and what it needs. If we could just relook at that, because honestly, I've been trying to go through my email. I cannot find. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, or no, you did send it to me last week, 2 weeks, but before your
did.
vacation.
I did before that
I
last.
didn't realize it was an attachment.
Oh,
That's what it was. Okay, so I do have it. Never mind. Never mind. Scratch that.
You can always bump it up to the
Yeah,
top of that.
Okay.
send it again.
But if we can relook at that and start coming up with our list of, that way, we all have a goal in mind on what we need to work on. Maybe the easier things first.
Yeah, actually, the Historical Commission a year ago put together a list of, kind of in that way.
Okay.
The lowest hanging fruit and then the more costly things, but in order of what was necessary too, like the telephone pole back, stone wall that's crumbling. But I'll share that with you. Share that with everyone.
Okay.
So it'd be great.
And for the township side of it, we should start looking into how we can make that property a little more accessible to all public, as far as the parking issue that we have. The picnic is excellent, but not every day are we going to have a shuttle
Yeah.
for regular folks. So,
Mm.
but this is just a win-win for everyone. Definitely look.
Yeah, if we can just get a parking lot up.
Or a tramway.
Yeah.
Tram.
Disney's closing theirs, right? Monorail.
No,
Right.
really. Thank you.
Residents here, they're all jumping up and down. They're all excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think the plus signs.
Anyone in Zoom? All right, sounds good. So for next meeting,
That would be fantastic. And if there's any comments in the meantime, please let me know. But if be sure to get it on a future agenda, definitely.
Okay. and Commissioner Kennedy, she did ask if there's any
I'll
other.
send those out.
Yeah, because even I Googled some. But
There's
you
quite-
did an outstanding job with this. I mean, you kept it short and sweet. You kind of covered all the bases. I think this is a learning, curve. After the year, we can reevaluate it, see what needs to be tweaked. But I think it's an excellent start.
A lot of input from everyone involved, and thank you.
Thank you, Don. All right. So on the agenda. Oh. This group here, this is the highlight of the whole evening. So
Sustainability Task
yeah,
Force.
so
group.
make sure you're tuning in.
Yes.
Get your soda and popcorn.
Movie night.
This is the Sustainability Task Force report.
Mm.
These folks are just a bunch of residents of Count Township that just got together last, April 2024. They locked themselves in a back room here in the township for the entire year. They only came out to get spring water and EV charges, I believe. Okay. But they were there just to answer the one question: how can Count Township be what is it? Sustainable community.
Mm.
So, and I believe we are about to find out. So who do we have as a spokesperson?
We're gonna use it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I have. You can all come up if you want.
Come on.
Joellen,
All right.
Joellen, good to see you.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, if I hold it.
perfect.
All right. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
I am Joellen. So I am here to talk about with all my friends here about our amazing report that we wrote for the Board of Commissioners. So get ready. All right. So as Paul said, we are a task force. And our members are by first name, me, Joellen, Helen, Lindsay, Suzanne, Gavin, and Mike, Cheryl, Abby, and Don. Like half of us are here today. So we're filling up the room. So how we did this, we didn't really lock ourselves in a room. We met monthly and communicated over email, and we shared resources. We spoke with experts in our community. We got super duper organized, and then we drafted a report, and it was exciting. So I'm gonna give it over to Mike now, and he's gonna tell us why we did this.
Mike's gonna
Mike's gonna take the mic.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Great. So what I want to start with is when we say, what do we mean by sustainable, right? Or what does sustainability mean? A lot of people hear sustainability and they automatically think environmentalism. That's only really part of the puzzle, right? And if you just want to scroll ahead, we've got this beautiful diagram that somebody found on the internet. This is called the triple bottom line, right? And you'll see it, people, prosperity, planet, or economy, social, and environment, but mix of those things. But the whole point is that you want to look at the full picture, not just one piece of it. And if you think about how we've done things over the years, we've probably thought about one of the things on there, maybe two of them, rarely the third, right? If the third happened, it was more of an accident than an intentional thing. So if we think about sustainability, we want to make that intentional and look at the big picture, right? We also want to look at a full life cycle of an item, right? And we often, again, looking in the past, we looked at immediate need. And a key tenet of sustainability is that we want to meet our needs now, but by doing so, not sacrifice the ability of future people to meet their needs, right? So if we think about a life cycle, again, it's not just what does it take to have this now, but what did it take to get here? And what happens to it 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, right? And then the last real piece of it, the big part of it, is interconnectivity, or what we'd call systems thinking. So again, this is looking at, I'm solving a problem here, and am I also fixing a problem over here, or am I creating another one, right? So again, it's this mindset or approach of like looking at the big picture, looking at all those connections, looking at a full life cycle, and then making evaluation based on that. Okay. And I was thinking about how to present this tonight. And I think some of you know me from the Planning Commission. And if you've ever been to a Planning Commission meeting, you know that we love talking about sidewalks, right? So when you think about a sidewalk, right, it takes a lot to get it in there in the first place. You can't just go build a sidewalk or grow a sidewalk. You have to engineer a sidewalk and buy the material and construct it and maintain it. And then at some point, you're going to have to replace it or dispose of it, right? So you need to look at that whole picture and take that into account. And not just that, but where the materials come from. Where do we get all the pieces to actually make this, right? So that's part of that whole total that you need to balance the good effects against. And one of the approaches that we took when we looked through this, and Abby's got a one of the things on screen right now, is we saw a lot of overlap between the different areas that we focused on, and we wanted to call that out because it's a key piece of this, is saying that like we can make small effects in one area that have overlap elsewhere. And really what we wanted to try to do this was tie this all together, because there's a lot of work that people are already doing, a lot of thought that people are coming up with on boards and commissions and volunteers and things that's already being done. So we wanted to document all this, put it all together in one place so that everybody could see it and think about it. So now we can say, well, how do we combine forces and do more, right? And then kind of where we want to land with this is why it's so important for us, right? So you think about the township, we have a lot of challenges here, right? Traffic's a problem, stormwater, weather, power outages. There's a lot of things that are big problems that are out of our control and that we didn't necessarily cause, but we have to deal with, right? So there are some of these things that we need to go through. And the other challenge that we have is that we have limited resources to do it with, right? We have, you know, a staff that works very hard. We have a lot of volunteers. So we want to try to make the most of those things and do a little bit more with it. So as we've organized this, we've tried to look and say, where do we have overlap? So where can we do things with stormwater, but also do that also helps with biodiversity, or for example, historical preservation also lowers your carbon impact because you're reusing something rather than doing something new. Okay. So again, a lot of the recommendations that you'll see here were put together with that sort of a mindset to say, we have a lot of people doing good work. Let's pull that all together and try to move forward. I think it's your turn.
Excellent.
Again.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank you. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our amazing report that we made. So we identified 7 goals for our township and we compiled them in a document, but then we also created this, well, Abby created this really amazing website that lists everything there, and it's kind of like interactive and like a story. So basically it's alive and it's there, and we can like check things off as we do them, which is that always feels good to me. I love checking boxes. Okay, so we identified 7 goals, and you may have seen them up there while Abby was scrolling around. Establish a sustainable community program, manage stormwater, promote and conserve biodiversity, improve waste management, use and develop land wisely, enhance green transportation alternatives, and optimize green energy use. So those are our 7 goals for the township. And they are big, broad goals, but they are targeted and specific to our community's needs, as Mike just told us. So in each section of our report, we provide some background on the specific goal. We outline the benefits of each to the community, and then we listed out specific actions, i.e. recommendations, that our township can take to achieve these larger goals. So our actions are grouped into 4 categories. Yeah, we just like broke this all down into little pieces. It's just so great for me as an organizational person. So our first category is achievements. So the goal here is to build off the work that our township is already doing. So we begin with what we've done so far in each area, followed by our recommendations for the future. So our recommendations for the future consist of 3 other categories. Like I said, we have assessments or explorations that our township can begin. We have policies and ordinances our township could implement, and outreach our township can do to engage and educate our community. So each of these recommendations brings us closer to achieving the 7 goals we've set in the report. So each section sort of walks through those things that I talked about for each specific thing, but I don't want to take up a ton of time. And I want to let Lindsay do her taking it home for everybody, because that's the most important part. But we are happy to answer any questions about the specific goals that we came up with.
Hello.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me here. So, as mentioned, the groundwork for progress in the areas that we've mentioned is already in motion. For example, the Parks and Rec Department partnered with the Penn State Extension to convert this unused large parcel of township-owned land right next to the building to a native meadow. And from this, Callan saved around $2,000 annually. They also minimized the use of fertilizer and chemicals that would go into our watershed, and posing risk to our natural environment and our own health. So establishing this meadow helped mitigate erosion and runoff, along with improved ability for water filtration and carbon sequestration. And it also offers an opportunity for the community to engage with this project and understand its benefits, and learn more about our native plants and our natural environment. And so this task force and the plan that we developed serves as a core foundation for continued progress in these areas. And with it, with a core roadmap in place, it's well positioned to pursue grant funding, align cross-departmental initiatives, and cultivate partnerships that promote resilience and ecological health. And so looking forward, the next step is to build off of the foundation. And so we think for the next step, establishing a municipal environmental advisory council would institutionalize the work of the task force, creating a dedicated advisory board to support the board of commissioners and staff and open doors to vital state and county level resources. It would also encourage deeper public engagement and guide long-term decision-making around land use, open space, stormwater, and climate adaptation. Pennsylvania currently has 140 EACs, Environmental Advisory Councils, and of the 73 municipalities in Chester County, there are 34. An example of a project undertaken by a township in Chester County, Upper Euclid was awarded, their EIC was awarded a stormwater management project grant from the Department of Environmental Protection to restore 700 feet of Marsh Creek with naturalized detention basins. And so this is one of the many examples of how EACs have been able to promote these projects. And so by adopting the sustainability plan and initiating the formation of an environmental advisory council, Callan can build on the existing momentum and continue leading the way towards this healthier, resilient future of our community and our natural environment that we've laid out in here in the so many different areas that's touched upon, and just form a core basis for, community cohesion and interaction.
Thank you. Yep. No one else? Ellen,
That's nice.
Cheryl. Oh,
Oh,
but
nice.
you're part of a great team here, and
Yeah, yes.
Too, right?
no.
What do we have to do to get an EAC going?
Well, first, we just need to ask this entire group here, will you all be part of our EAC? That would be the first question.
See a lot of yes. Oh, hold on, Lindsay, you're getting the microphone.
Oh, yep.
Thank you. So EACs are voluntary and resident led. And yeah, so I assume, I mean, I would definitely be in that, and pretty much everyone in the Sustainability Council. And just that would allow us to build off of all those action items that we laid out in the plan, and connect with other EACs in the county and connect with county resources such as in the Planning Commission, and really just formalized channels to actually working out these projects and develop management plans and monitoring progress.
So this was a huge amount of work.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
thank you for your work in this. When many years ago now, we created a green energy task force that was not nearly as organized or put as much work into it as you guys have. This is really something special, I think. At Slippery Rock, we have a strategic plan, and when we vote on anything, we reference what pillar the strategic plan we're implementing. So maybe as we move forward, if we're doing policy or any we can reference where in the sustainability plan this is coming from, and then we can keep track better of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And is this on the township website yet? Okay, so it'll be an interactive where we can continue to update and.
Yeah, so we made both a PDF version and then the Sway version as well. And one of the, I think maybe the second or third recommendation is actually to create a cowntownship.org/sustainability. And that's where we're thinking all this stuff could live. Yeah. And we would be able to add things to it as new things pop up and cross things off in a satisfying way as we do them.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we continue to reference it and make it a living document versus something that you guys did all this work and we put it on the shelf and let it collect dust, that's not something that we're looking for.
That's brings up a good question. Out of this whole packet here, what would be the priority that we can start on? I don't know if anyone wants to take that question, but I mean, excellent ideas throughout this entire program that you put together. But is there a starting point that you would like to see? Oh,
You
yep,
have to
we need a
come to
mic.
the microphone.
Within the PDF at the end, there's a spreadsheet that does, from my understanding, it does list the priorities of each action item, and with a note section on grant sources and resources for that action item. So the way that each section is laid out is definitely priorities are organized in that way.
Okay.
And I think our first ask was the EAC, and then maybe the first EAC meeting is sitting down and identifying where are we going to start. And some of these things are already about to happen or they've been talked about. So some of it will be kind of low hanging fruit. Some of it will be harder.
Well, I'm in favor of starting our first EAC. EAC? EAC.
Man,
Commissioners?
Yeah.
I think we should come back to the next meeting and vote on creating.
Well,
an
you need to
EAC.
create the bylaws and
You got them ready.
establish the
already, I can
rules.
tell.
Do we have a standard? Oh, you already put this together.
I hope.
Right.
If the board is in favor, we can put that. The first step, of course, would be adopting the work of the sustainability task force. And I agree that this is I've seen a lot of townships, a lot of municipalities, a lot of counties put together these types of reports, and this is beyond what most communities have done. So it's truly exceptional.
Yeah.
But the first step would be to accept it and agree, review it, and any comments, of course, would be welcome. But we could do that as soon as the next meeting, perhaps. The goal was to have this when we formed it last year as Earth Day month, so to speak. So to get it included in that in April would be great. And then, of course, move forward with the administrative process of establishing a new board or commission. We can get on that right away if that's and bring that to the board's attention for consideration.
Okay, let's put it on the next agenda. Okay, go forward.
And it's great to see the generational diversity. I was looking at the word, I banged my head, so I'm like losing information as we speak, but it's like all these people working together. And just the timeliness of this for me. I had a 3-hour drive yesterday. I think I was telling Don this, and I was listening. I heard this interview with Benji Jones, wrote something in Vox about plastic rain and how microplastics are creating plastic rain everywhere. If there's plastic in everything, the fish are full of them, and we're full of them. Each human brain contains as much as a plastic spoon worth of microplastic right now. And so, I mean, that's just one little piece of what you would be doing, but it's really important work. And I'm all behind it. I'll be quiet now.
Oh, well said. Well, residents here in the township building, any comments? They are jumping up and down. They are screaming at the top of their lungs, but they don't have mics. Anyone in Zoom world? I think we're all in agreement to move this forward. Thank you so much for all the work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
We are looking forward to good things coming out of this.
Sure.
All right. Sticking around?
There's not that much more. Stick around. Write it out.
Discussion. Next discussion item, Public Works skid steer. We have a video.
Oh, wow.
Nothing like a steer.
Kids.
Yeah.
As you're looking up that, I did notice in your right up here under the township's green space open space plan, the last update was 1995. I read that. I was amazed. Yeah, so it's definitely time to update that. Oh, was that the video? I'm sorry.
No, this is and with Director Huggins is unable to join us this evening, but this is just a discussion item. This is a budgeted equipment purchase for Public Works. It is Caterpillar skid steer. It was budgeted in the 2025 budget for around $100,000. So it's not a cheap piece of equipment, but it would be very helpful for a number of the activities that Public Works takes on throughout the year. Road work, repairs, patches, infrastructure work, such as just removing inlets, so to get access rather than bringing out the larger pieces of equipment. Smaller snow removal for certain areas, things of that sort. So this is really just open for discussion. It's coming out of the capital fund, and then there is a fiscal memo that Director Swan put together in your packet. Of course, when Director Huggins is back next week, we can talk more about it. But going through CoStars, we were able to save around 20% of the total cost of this vehicle or this piece of equipment, almost $30,000 in total. So, of course, more information can come if at the next meeting when it's on the agenda. But this is just here for discussion, and of course, you have a video of some of the activities this piece of equipment can do.
Is it coming with attachments?
I don't believe it will come with all those attachments. That's something we can certainly discuss.
But it should come with a bucket, right?
But I mean, some of the items would be very technical. Of course, if there's a need, we can certainly look into what those costs would be. I think we'd have to justify what it would be, of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things.
Abby, I figured you would superimpose Johnny's face on that. Just so we get a good feel of what it would look like in action. Okay.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, bring it up our next meeting. Residents here in the township building, you excited about the cat? They're jumping up and down again. Anyone? Sounds good. Right along. Oh, we have a resolution. 2025-10. It's the PA 811-811 Safe Digging Month. Who wants to take this?
Where is it?
It's for.
Commissioner Evans, you want to
Digging month.
read the exciting resolution? You want to take mine?
Oh,
There you go.
That's service. A resolution of Cowan Township, Chester County, Resolution 2025-10. Whereas the month of April 2025, recognized as Pennsylvania 811 Safe Digging Month, and the initiative sponsored by Pennsylvania 811, a utility notification information center with over 50 years of continuous service to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And whereas Pennsylvania 811 received 1 million excavation notifications in 2025, over 3,000 construction projects in Coordinate, PA, and transmitted approximately 6 million notifications to their member facility owners and operators, allowing essential utility and construction crews to provide vital underground services and repair of critical infrastructure to communities throughout Pennsylvania. And whereas their mission is to prevent damage to underground facilities, to promote safety, provide an efficient and effective communications network among project owners, designers, excavators, and facility owners. And whereas when dialing 811, at least 3 business days before digging, a homeowner or a contractor is connected to a unique service that notifies the appropriate underground utility operations in the municipality in which the work will be performed. And whereas by notifying 811 of their intent to dig, the homeowner or contractor is knowingly helping to protect the underground utilities themselves, work crew, and their neighbors from any unsafe digging practices within their community. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Cowan Township, in support of the Pennsylvania Underground Utility Line Protection Law, Pennsylvania Act 287 of 1974, as amended, we do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Pennsylvania Safe Digging Month and encourage all Pennsylvanians to visit the Pennsylvania 811 website at www.pa1call.org for information about digging safely.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
So be it.
We'll be able to breathe our work skid out, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be on the phone every week, right?
Very important. You're going to dig.
Yes,
Why?
especially with that big
Big
thing
skid,
on that
yeah.
steer.
See the teeth on that monster?
Yeah.
I assume no questions. So entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025-10.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Evans. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Right along. Resolution 2025-11. We have a PEMA designation of agent. Who would like to take this? Mr.
Sure.
Stackhouse.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, this is just this is our COVID grant closeout. We received those funds we expended back, several years ago now.
Right.
And the only reason for this form is because the previous signer was the previous manager.
Right.
So this is just to get that closed out. What you're approving is that the new manager would be the signer for that closeout.
Okay.
This is the Don is Don.
This is the Don. It's-
Okay. Enough said, commissioners, comments?
Mm.
Residents here in the township building? None at this time.
What did we get back? Not much, I know.
Me.
And you got to remember this was what we got for this specific grant was for things we needed to protect our workers during work. So it was for gloves, masks, the plexiglass, those type of
Right.
things specifically.
Mhm.
If I can remember correctly, I think we spent $80,000. And I believe we got reimbursed $35,000, something like that. Maybe 60.
Anything you get back's great.
Yeah. And keep in mind that was for those features, it was a very short time window because at one point then they stopped paying for that
Right.
and that just came out of our general fund.
Entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025 establishing Don Vimazol as the new designation of agent.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Board minutes to approve for March 27th. Any comments, changes needed? Denise, I appreciate the few typos I caught, but thank you for updating that. Commissioners? Not entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
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 And minutes have been approved, 5-0. Finance Department check approval. We have a check run of 53,807. We lost Tony to 53,872. Any comments on the check run? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tindaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Checks have been approved, 5-0.
Excellent.
Moving on to the board liaisons, Park and Rec.
Park and Rec. Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for everyone in the township that participated in the township cleanup day. I forget how many bags of trash were collected. 186 bags of trash, not to mention other numerous items like tires and ropes and boats and things that were pulled out of streams. So we thank you and we will continue having our quarterly cleanups and just watch the websites for the dates as they come available. And to Midway Grill for always being there to compliment our hard workers with our refreshing retreat for lunch. So that was nice. There's a lot going on in the Parks and Recs. This weekend, I guess weather permitting, they're going to have the opening ceremony for the Callan Little League. So I guess we just got to watch the weather, but it's a beautiful ceremony that they have with the children. It seems like it's getting bigger and bigger each year. It looks like Don has something to say.
Something to say.
I don't like delivering potential bad news, so we did hear they may be postponing once again due to the weather. I believe they'll make the call tomorrow, so as soon as we know, we'll get
Okay.
that out to the commission.
All limbered up.
But yeah, we're all ready to go. Well, he's following the Phillies.
I'm ready.
Also, we have our Easter egg hunt coming up. That's on next Saturday. And it's going to start at 1:00. And we're stuffing 5,000 eggs. So that means we need 5,000 children of all ages. No, just kidding. But last year it was such a huge turnout. We actually ran out of eggs. So we had to get extra eggs. That's letting you know the township's growing. We have more little kids now, and we have neighboring friends and children that come as well. So come on out and, enjoy the photo shoot. It should be the weather looks good for next week. So hopefully the weekend be a delight for everyone to come out and have a good time. For movie nights, the winners are Willy Wonka. Yeah, the chocolate factory guy, and Nemo. So we're going to be planning some other festivities and activities for the children to enjoy with those themes. So just keep your eye on the website for the upcoming dates and events. Bus trip to New York. How are we doing with ticket sales? Let's go. There might be about 20 seats left out of 50 something. So they're moving quickly. So if you're interested in joining us for a day in New York on your own on Saturday, May 31st, please reach out to Abby or go online. You can purchase your tickets online as well. I'm looking forward to having a nice time there as well. That's all I have to say outside of you guys are going to be participating in the Callan Elementary Science Fair tomorrow evening.
It's just a spring fair.
Spring fair.
Helen's
Yes,
connection.
that should be fun.
And actually, some of Ray's guys are going to come too. So
Yeah, that should be fun.
yeah,
And that's an indoor event.
it looks like it's going to be.
Going to be indoors. Going to rain again. Oh, spring will be here soon in full effect. Outside of that, if I'm missing anything else, Abby, you want to share? That's it. And for COG, I was able to participate for about an hour. So for an hour, I listened to ideas and concepts and about bonds and how townships and municipalities, with financial struggles that we're facing or may soon face, how do we get around these obstacles and what institutions are going to be providing or should we look to in the event we need financing to continue to run our governments. So more to come on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Next is Municipal Authority. Well, got my paper. The Cal Meeting House Granger Lane project bid opening was on March 13th. And we received 12 bids. Pretty amazing. So we reviewed the unofficial bid tab. CTMA. Yeah. On our March meeting, we reviewed the unofficial bids, and Gilmore, who Ross, you met earlier, is currently working on checking the lowest bidders paperwork and is looking forward to making an award recommendation at our April meeting. Also, we adopted the 2025 for CTMA requesting a PA Small Water Sewer Program grant for $291,210 from the CFA. And that hopefully will be used for the Phase 2 Dogwood Scott Drive Sewer Extension Project. And as far as rereading my stuff here. The CTMA at their March meeting adopted resolution 2025-5 accepting the certain deed dedication of the 8-inch sanitary sewer line and associated manholes that was installed part of Starbucks and Chipotle project. And with Dara, really no update. They're just still working on the expansion plan modernization. That's all I have. And as far as the fire board, we have not met since last meeting, so there is no report. And we can move on to historical commission. Oh, and before I move on to the story, I just want to give a shout out to Joellen and her daughter. They were my partners for the cleanup day. They were awesome. So thank you.
Nothing like being attacked by it.
You might have got too close to their nest.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Historical Commission. We met on March 19th. We'll be meeting again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here and also on Zoom. We're still having fun and we've kind of gone into another dimension since Abby became our recording secretary. So I'm not paying enough attention because she's so good at everything. So I got but at our meeting, we had full membership present. We passed our hybrid meeting requirement. We voted to order magnets of our schoolhouse, the meeting count at the old town meeting house, and Spackman Davis Farm. We discussed applying for the semi-quincentennial grant for 2026 celebration, and believe we agreed that we were going to invite the Old Town Historical Society and Friends of Spackman Davis Farm to join us in applying for that grant to make it, they like it when there's more people attached to the grants. Could really do something big. I know we did some other things, but all that's kind of sticking in my mind now is seems like a year ago, David and Carla Herkner from Freedom Village came to one of our meetings and told us about a house I didn't know about. It was called Taylor House by Old Town Historical Society, but they came and informed us that this was the Thomas Vickers. Vickers was a world-renowned potter and a major mover on the Underground Railroad. He would just put people in the pottery and under the grass and hay on the carts, and so this house was falling down, and we brought it to the attention of some people, and the new owner has, I know they applied for a permit for the roof. I think the roof might be on now, and they'll be applying for a permit for the porch. So these kind of wins are, I mean, they come out of nowhere, but they're big because that spot is so important in Chester County history. So come join us. We have a lot of fun. Not as much fun as Parks and Rec from what I understand. And definitely not as much fun as sewer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're all about fun.
But thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Lincoln Highway.
We met last night, and we discussed some more of Lincoln Highway standards, design standards. Still working on that for the final zoning. We also talked with a small business owner who is interested in providing a restaurant facility somewhere on Lincoln Highway, and what we could do to help them along to get through the process at the township. So can't really say anything more yet, but hopefully soon they'll have an agreement of sale and we can begin to move forward with that process. But we've taken it upon ourselves, if people come to us and say they're interested in a property, bring them into the Lincoln Highway group and try to be upfront with them and tell them what you might need, what what undertaking you're getting yourself into, in order to make sure they have a full appreciation. And then Don and staff will meet with them once they either equitable own or they have some more questions or things like that. But we want to just welcome people in that want to be part of the business community, tell them they're welcome here, and then move forward with staff beyond that. So hopefully that person can get an agreement of sale and move forward with the project, because it would be a great project if it can come to fruition.
Yeah.
So, but other than
It's a
that,
game changer.
yes. We'll meet again next month. I think we're going to bring another developer in to try to see if we can't make some more things happen. Working one piece at a time. Al DiMatteo, who's on our Lincoln Highway committee and has been since the beginning, he was part of Downingtown's committee, and he said, 20 years ago in Downingtown, it was a small group of people that just chipped away at it little by little, and you see what has come to fruition in Downingtown. They've gotten some great restaurants and things like that. So that's what we're trying to do. It's a tough climate out there for businesses, a lot of uncertainty. So we're trying to make their decision as certain as possible so that they come. And then, Mark and I are going to have to take our roadshow not too distant future to go back to the school district to ask for another 5 years of LRTA, because that is rapidly coming up on us. So we'll probably start that next year.
I think probably hit them up in January.
Yeah. So we'll move forward with that too. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Great report. Yeah, I read Lerda in the sustainability report, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Because it was a 5-year.
Yeah, it
deal.
was a 5-year LERTA.
Year
Wow.
and a half, I think we have left on. We want to get
Get ahead of it. Yeah.
So
Excellent news. And Callan is the place to be. If you have a business.
Yes, it is.
and that is the word on the street. This literally that we are the next golden mile here.
Skillful.
And guess what? We have a golf course. So let's hear about our golf
Good.
course.
Nice.
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is Angleside Golf Course Report. And we have club memberships available with discounts to Cowan residents, seniors, juniors, family, and veterans. Membership includes unlimited golf cart usage, guest passes, complimentary driving range balls, pro shop discounts, invitation to members only events, and golf tournaments throughout the year. New merchandise is arriving in the pro shop. Planning for events and fundraisers throughout 2025, led by John Frank as event manager, are expanding. Golf course improvements continue, including rebuilding sand bunkers and tree trimming. They've moved one tee to better direct bad tee off hits to surrounding residential properties. Noted improvements realized through improved irrigation system, providing greens ready to play right now and as the weather improves. Spring 2025 Ingleside Golf Jobs Fair in planning. Next golf committee meeting will be Monday, April at 12 noon. Great job, Nicole and John and the entire Ingleside golf team for implementation of a robust beginning to 2025. The weather is improving, so come out to play Ingleside. That's it. Thanks.
And you said the next meeting's April, but you didn't say what day. What day is that?
Did you have a day?
You just
I
said
said Monday.
there's 4 of them in April, maybe 5. Is it this
The
coming?
last Monday, April 28th.
April 28th.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. 12 noon. Feel free to stop in.
I knew.
Great. I have had some people comment that the getting rid of some of the bunkers has really improved play. So it is a
Yeah,
noticed
nice.
thing on the course. So I've had a couple people say something to me that it improves play and it looks better with not so many bunkers out there.
They have some nice photos. I think that's on the website. I'm not certain, that were taken recently. And you can see the before and the after. It's like, can't believe it. It looks great.
How are the
And-
greens doing?
Oh, excellent. That's the before and after picture that I think they're posting. And
Unreal. How
Yeah.
great they look.
Okay.
Really did a great job.
It's great over there.
mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen the sign on the 30 bypass,
Yeah, I've seen it.
oh, every single night I see it. I don't.
Yeah.
It's perfectly timed. Good advertisement.
The only thing I would say is, and I harp on this all the time, the sign at Geo and North Bailey needs attention again. It's where we first see the golf course and the weeds are all growing up again. If we can just address that.
I know they were working on getting the bunker project complete. That's almost nearing the end. And they were doing a whole landscape plan. And the first location they're going to target is that sign.
Okay, good.
That's definitely on the priority list for the spring.
Yeah, and we used to have bushes and things around it. They looked awful and they cut them down and that it looks much better. But we should have some type of shrubbery or something around it just to make it look nicer. It's not just a sign in the middle of grassy area.
refer to sustainability task force.
Yeah.
Find something that works there.
Bring it to life.
Yeah.
And does the sign need to be painted?
I don't know. I don't see it that closely, but it
It-
might need to be.
Yeah, take a look at it.
Sure.
For some reason, I'm just thinking.
That's something we were looking at to improve all of our signage in and around the township.
Johnny did a great job, 340 in Joe Carlson.
I believe when we purchased the course, we bought that sign because it said Ingleside something before, and now it says Cowan Township on it. So I think in 2007, when we purchased the course, we got that sign. So it's been out there for a few years. But I think we got it through Denron, and if we did, they can, like, I think it's like leafed, like gold leafed. They can re-leaf it. They've talked about in the past. So, if that's the issue, but if it needs painted or something, I'm sure anybody can.
Great.
Okay.
Really good.
Look into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have someone check it out. All right. Additional business. Commissioners? This time?
Yes.
Oh, we do have George. Welcome.
George.
How's that working?
Raise it up a little.
No, you have to push it more up
Put
to
up a
your
little bit.
mail.
All right, good. Good evening, commissioners and township support staff. My name is George March. I'm the chair of the Civil Service Commission. Frankly, depending upon which section of the Civil Service rules, I'm either the chairman or the chairperson, so that's why I say chair. this evening. On behalf of the commission members, I publicly thank Chief Elias and Mr. Stackhouse for their help and assistance as we work through what I'm about to describe to you here. Last evening was the official public meeting of the Civil Service Commission, during which time we adopted the official eligibility list for police officer applicants and for firefighter applicants. Those lists are now in the process of the individuals named on those lists. For instance, 15 applicants for the police department and 13 applicants for the firefighter positions. The individuals named on those lists are now being subject to background investigations, full background investigation for police applicants, limited background investigations for firefighter applicants, and polygraph examinations for police officer applicants as well. That process is underway. Depending upon the outcome of those two processes, the polygraph and the background investigations, if the individuals successfully meet all the statutory or judicial requirements for those positions, they will remain on the list. So the information is, for your information, those two lists have been adopted. So they are the official eligibility list, and they are ready to be referred to when the commissioners would ask for certification of names from those lists when they are need to consider those names for decisions about hiring.
Thank you. Commissioners, comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to have you all interested.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
Any other additional business? None at this time. We have public comment? Public comment at this time. I figured, John, you showed up for a reason.
All right.
Mark, how are you? Good evening, everyone. John Hash from the lounge. I have two things I wanted to ask about. Well, actually, it was really one, and then you mentioned the signs. It's the second item. We are reformatting, rebranding 300 North Bailey Road as the Buchanan Mansion, which is more apt to the property. And then there's going to be the lounge at Buchanan Mansion, and then Dragonfly Catering at the Buchanan Mansion. As mentioned when I spoke to you guys last time, we're also bringing in a coffee company, and then hopefully we're going to be bringing in a dessert pastry chef as well. So we can add an assortment of food service items under the existing use. Ray, you missed that, but that's okay. So with that said, the signage that you have at the corner of Geo Carlson and North Bailey, and the signage that you have at the corner of Geo Carlson and 340, we would like to offer a few dollars towards renovation on those signs if we can have a placard for the Buchanan Mansion with an arrow. So that's first food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
The second food for thought, and this is a conversation I was having with Don earlier and Ray the other day, permit fees for events. Where for an existing business within the municipality,
Mhm.
where do you draw the line? I mean, I understand if it's a special event for a third party coming in and wanting to host an event at someone else's property. But when you have the property owner having an event that's integral to their own business, why is there a request for a permit? And so specifically for us, in our case, I'm well entrenched in the car community, and I'm integrating that into our business model with hosting multiple occasions where individuals from the car community can come together. And, you know, we're not calling them car shows, they're car meets. We have a bike club, motorcycle club. We have, specific brand of automobile club that are coming to host their get-togethers at our place and spend dollars in our establishment on food and drink.
Mhm.
And we have a permit, we have use and occupancy, we have licensure from the state for food and alcohol service on the outside of our building. And the question comes up is, why am I being asked for a permit to have customers on my property? Which is what it boils down to.
All right. Well, I would redirect to the staff to answer it, but a quick answer is one, I mean, you are established as a restaurant. The folks that would pull into your parking lot would actually be entering your facility, enjoying your meals, paying that way. But what you're talking about is a car, not a car show, but a car gathering. So it's a public gathering with so many folks showing up. So they're outside in the parking lot. So it's more of a public gathering. I think that is the concern, and that's why you would need a permit, because you're dealing with fire, safety, EMS services or whatnot, because you just don't know what's going to happen, police. But that's my first take on this. And of course, I would ask our staff to step in if they can read the rules and regulations as far as a public
I'll add
gathering.
to that too. Like, the Friends of Spackman Farm last year, when they did their the picnic at Spackman Davis Farm, they had to get a permit, event permit, because all the directors have to review, well, we're going to have more people than usual on this site. How many police will we need? Will we need to have any traffic control on the roads? We have EMS. Where will EMS be if they need to get there? And right now, this year, it's the Historical Commission, which is actually a township entity, is going to host the picnic this year. And the Historical Commission has to go through the same process because of making sure that we have
Take care,
staff
Joelle.
needed to keep everybody safe once it's a bigger thing than a normal everyday thing. But that's all I know.
Right. But that's an outside organization hosting an event at someone else's property and place of business or whatever it may be. I'm talking about, it's my business, it's my customers, it's my private property.
Mhm.
Why am I being asked for a permit to have customers on my property?
Hey, Cheryl.
Bye, Cheryl.
Good night.
And that should extend to others. I mean, that same question would extend, like, for example, if Copa wanted to have an event, I'm sure he's licensed to have service outside, alcohol and food service outside. Sam at Thorndale Inn is licensed to have outside food and beverage outside. Blanking. Beaver Creek.
Yeah.
I mean, why? This is part of our operation, our marketing, our promotion to bring people to the business,
Mhm.
to support our business. It's not a special event. It's, we have a full calendar of events. And I fully understand what Mark described, whereas you have an event on someone else's property and you have an influx that is not normally anticipated. But our objective is to have that many people all the time at our property, growing our business so that we turn a profit.
I think the key word there was event, because this is an event, you're having a car get together. I'm not going to say show.
Right.
But Don, if you wanted to weigh in, just to
Sure. And
give some
we had a good
clarification.
conversation
Yeah, we
today,
did.
Mr. Hash, and I appreciate the time you took. And I hope we can have continued follow
When
up.
did I come here, by the way?
And I think it's
That's what
always
we're
good
here
for
for.
everyone to come to these
Yeah.
meetings, of course. Just a couple clarification points regarding the event that Commissioner Evans mentioned. It was in partnership with the Friends Up Group, but it was a township event on township property. So in that example, and some of the other township events, Community Day, other activities that the township does, it's on township property, but the permit is still required and completed. So the township having an event on its own property goes through that process for a couple of reasons. And I just getting to your main point in a sec. But number one, it's to, as Commissioner Mullen had mentioned, it's to involve all the necessary responders, make sure they're aware, make sure they're staffed. That if there's any issues that may develop, there's communication and coordination with that influx of additional people. And second, it's as we mentioned earlier today, it's about the balance. We want every business to be successful. Clearly, that's a goal, shared goal, I think, by not speaking for the board, but I think everyone wants a business to be successful in the township. The balance is with residents as well. We want to respect their right to privacy, their right to their property. And if there's going to be an event that could impact that, we want to be aware so we can be prepared for the event of responding to any concerns that they may have and trying to mitigate that to strive towards that balance. So that's really where that permit comes in. It's for communication, coordination, and trying to strike that balance between successful businesses and creating a safe community and a welcome community for residents to live in. And as we said earlier today, really look forward to working with you on those permits. I think we can find a way to make it as easy as possible.
Right. You did, Don, and I respect that. This is more of a global thing. This isn't just particular to me. Yeah. I'm here for the global aspect because
and we would do that for everyone.
I want to see more businesses come into Callan Township.
Of course.
And, you guys run a great shop. And I use the word shop because it is a shop, right? I mean, you have a lot of organization here, a lot of components, and a lot of things you need to run. God bless you guys. You run so much better than other municipalities.
Thank you.
But like an example, LERTA is a program to bring in more businesses. Coming up with a little less government is probably going to help bring in and promote some more businesses to come into our area. And I think that's really the overall gist of what I'm saying. If you're going to require permits of everyone for so many smaller things, overall, it might help with a resident here and there, but in the big picture, it's not going to help us grow our community with businesses.
And I think your point about smaller events, things, let's have that conversation. See exactly what you're envisioning and see what may or may not be required. But let's work through that with staff and find a way. So I hope we can set up a time to talk and we can certainly, not just your case, but encourage any business that may be interested in this process, reach out and we'll deal with it on a case by case in order to find the best way that works for everyone.
Right. And I respect that and I appreciate that. I'm just saying globally, you need something that's you need a little less, what's the word I want? I don't really want to use the word government, but you need a little less requirements. You got to keep the safety aspect involved for sure, but a little less taxing on the individuals that want to come in with the businesses. We need we need to get more people in.
As Don had mentioned, I mean, we are trying to make it
Yeah.
as easy as possible to get
Yeah.
through the process, but it's also the safety of our residents that, you know, if there is an event being held,
Right,
you know, our services need to be notified.
right. Callan is known within business community of being kind of expensive to do business.
I have to jump
there are
in
other-
here, John. I'm sorry.
Huh.
This is something I was saying for a long time, that it was known as being difficult financially to do business with. And this board made a change in the last 6 months or year to financially make it easier for a business to get going.
So how
So
do we promote that?
we're working on all of these things, trying to make sure we get the right things in here, because some of the people that we work with, you know, vendors that we work with have told us the horror stories. And I've seen some of the horror stories,
Yeah.
but we took pretty big measures last year to
Mhm.
make it easier for the little guy to get going. Where, you know,
Okay.
since they're up against the, you know, Wawas and things like that. So it's all a process. So
Okay,
we're working on it.
thanks. Let me know about the signage, by the way.
I sent you an email this
I
afternoon.
didn't get a chance to read it. I saw it
okay,
and I didn't even
all
get a chance to read it.
Okay.
So
All right.
thank
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
And any other public comment? Do not see any hands raised here in the township. Anyone on Zoom?
I have a public comment.
Oh,
So moved.
all right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Happy Easter, everyone. Have a good night.
Oh, gosh.